Well, welcome guys to another session. Today, I would like to talk about frequency, about vibration, about energy. I would like to talk and bring different concepts from different modalities like the law of attraction, like Joe Dispenza, and I would like to bring Abraham Hicks, and I would like to bring quantum physics, and I would like to kind of bring a few different teachings from different people. And I would like to kind of do a mix and then really talk about, have a conversation about this idea of our vibration, our frequency, our emotion, and how that can impact what we see outside of us. And for some of you, maybe you are very familiar with this and you are practicing this. For some of you, maybe this is something new. For some of you, maybe this is something that is a theory that is in your brain, but you don't really know how to put it into practice. So I would like to know, like, where are you at? Like when I say frequency, when I say vibration, when I say that the universe mirrors what you feel and what you are in this present moment, like when you think about the law of attraction or quantum physics, like what comes for you? What do you feel about these things? What is your belief system about this? Are you practicing anything about this? Are you noticing anything in your life about this? I'm just curious to know where you guys are at with this, if there is curiosity, if there is rejection, if there is, I don't know, whatever is there present for you, it's always welcome. This is an open conversation from a place of curiosity, from a place of respect, from a place of really just getting curious about these things and really bringing them into the light. So Patrick says, I read a book on quantum physics and got lost. So a beginner for sure. Yeah, Patrick, I can imagine that it can be very daunting. I'm still understanding some of the concepts, and some of these things are kind of, sometimes I feel that a part of me knows these things, but I cannot explain them sometimes. And sometimes they are completely out of my reach, and sometimes they are more familiar. So yeah, I never thought about it, but do believe I feel vibrations from me and my surroundings. Amazing, Lola. Thank you for sharing that. Becca says, I forget sometimes that I have manifested a lot, but I am grateful to have so much abundance in my life. Yeah, gratitude. Yeah, that's a very beautiful place to be, right? A state of being of. They say that gratitude is the ultimate state of receiving. Because when you are feeling grateful and you appreciate what you have very little resistance, and you cannot feel two things at once. If you are feeling grateful, you cannot feel fear at the same time. So that's why gratitude sometimes really helps make things feel lighter. So I would like to start with just quantum physics, right? Just some basic things from quantum physics, and then kind of throw them in the mix here, and then we can go from there. Melinda says, I definitely feel when I live in a higher vibration, I feel mine of the higher vibration around me. It's a wonderful feeling. Amazing, Melinda. Thank you for that. Becca says, Emilio, you model that. Thank you, Becca, for that. Yeah, more. So quantum physics, some of the main concepts that I don't want to get into detail, but some of the things that quantum physics explains or shares is that matter, like the physical reality that we live in, it is not solid. Okay, so if you look with a microscope, you see that we are all made with from atoms, and if you look at an atom, you have the nucleus, and then you have the electrons kind of circling around. They show up and disappear. They're kind of like doing this. So everything inside there, majority of that is empty space. Okay, so it's not solid. So it is energy, and the electrons are attracted to the nucleus, and then what we see feels solid, right? If I have a piece of wood, it feels solid, but the reality is that it is not solid. It's full of space, and that space is what they call the quantum field. That space is what we perceive as solid, but it is not. Another really interesting thing that quantum physics explains is the observer effect. So basically, they say that for an electron to manifest, to show up, someone has to be looking there. So just think about this. So nothing exists, nothing is real unless an observer is watching there. So basically, the electrons are appearing where you look at there. So basically, there is a relationship between someone observing reality and then reality appearing. So that is a really interesting concept that when I heard of it, I thought it was fascinating. And then quantum physics talks about the quantum field. Basically, it's a field of infinite possibilities. Everything exists in the here and in the now. And they talk about the infinite present moment. Okay, so the only thing that exists is the present moment, and we can connect to anything in this present moment. So basically, time and space are illusions that we create to have an experience, but everything exists here and now, and we just have to connect energetically with our vibration to different realities. And when we observe things and we believe about things, things manifest. So that's kind of what they talk about. And an example that really helps me understand the idea that everything exists here and now, and that time and space, it is an illusion that we create so that we can have an experience. It's if you look at a movie, right? You look at a movie, and then a movie, when you watch it, you are creating a sequence of scenes. So you are creating a timeline. There is a beginning and there is an end. And then the movie will give you an experience. That's why you don't want anyone to tell you the end of a movie, because if they tell you the end of a movie, then it spoils the experience of you watching that movie, because the movie does a really good job of introducing the story and all the characters, and then you go through that story, and then there is an ending, right? Sometimes you like the ending, sometimes you don't. But how many of you want to know the end of a movie that you have not watched? I'm curious. Any of you would like to know the end, or you want to watch the movie and experience it by yourself? I don't want to know the ending. No spoilers. Yeah, amazing. No spoilers. So imagine that physical reality is the same thing. You decide to have an experience, and then at the same time, the same way that a movie, if you look at a movie, everything exists here and now. Okay? So all the frames are here and now. All the content exists here and now. So the only thing that the producer is doing, or the director is deciding, I'm going to put this frame first, and then this frame here, and then this frame here, and then I'm going to play it, and then we are going to get the illusion that there is a time, and that there is space between the past and the future, and you are going through that story. But in reality, everything exists here and now. All the frames are here, all the photographs are here, even the video is not a video. The video is not really a video, it's a sequence of images that are played fast enough that we perceive that as being a video, and it's motion, but it is not really motion. It's just a sequence of images that have speed, right? That you just play them with frames per second fast enough, 25, 30 frames per second, and we don't perceive the space between them. So this is one idea to understand this. Another idea that helps me, maybe it's because I studied telecommunications, is that if you are sitting down watching TV, for example, all the channels, you have a remote, and then you can connect, you can change the frequency of your TV to watch a specific channel. But that doesn't mean that all the channels are disappearing, right? Everything is here and now. And then you are going to connect to the channel that you want to experience. That is another idea of, imagine that the quantum field is all the channels that exist right here, right now. Same with radio stations. All the radio stations are here and now. I just have a radio, and I will synchronize to a specific channel, a specific frequency, to experience a specific kind of content that I am interested in. So these are some examples of this quantum field and this kind of infinite amount of possibilities, that everything exists in the here and now. And now let me see your comments. So a thing I found interesting was that the atom behaved differently when observed. Yeah, Patrick, it does. They call it that it focuses. So when someone is observing, basically the electron manifests in the place that you are looking. And if no one is looking, it does not manifest there. So when I was studying science, I thought that the atom was a nucleus and the electrons were kind of on an orbit like our solar system. But that is not the reality. The reality is that the electrons that are floating around the atom, they are kind of doing this. They are appearing and disappearing like really fast, and the observer is going to manifest something concrete in physical reality when you are observing. So yeah, they exist without an observer, but they are only in one place once someone is observing. Yeah, Bianca. So they say that I can't remember the specific word, but basically this physical reality is manifesting when someone is observing it with a specific consciousness. And then, hi, Brianna, you are new here today. Welcome to the session. So we are having a fascinating conversation about quantum physics and attraction and vibration and energy. Okay. So these are some of the points from quantum physics. And again, I don't want to go into detail because it can be really difficult to understand. But I think it really ties up really well with the next concept that I want to share. And the next concept is the law of attraction. And I'm sure that majority of you are familiar with the law of attraction. Are you guys familiar with the law of attraction? I would like to know, what is your relationship with the law of attraction? Do you believe in it? Do you use it? You think you don't? It doesn't exist? And I will talk more about what it is. I don't know. Amazing, Brianna. Yes. Did you have a life on the law of attraction? Becca, yeah, I did. A few years ago, I did have a series of lives about the law of attraction. And we did cover a really good book. But we all have different relationships and we all have different belief systems that will allow us to be open to this information and to believe in it or to not. And again, there is not a right or wrong approach. We are all on our unique journey. But today's life is all about planting seeds, about having a conversation, and about really kind of exploring the idea, like, what if we are having a huge impact in our creation, in our life as we experience it? So the law of attraction says that basically you attract what you are, not just what you want. So what you are means what you are in this present moment. If in this present moment you are vibrating, or your frequency is gratitude, your state of being, the emotion that you are having, what you are feeling is gratitude, you are going to attract and radiate gratitude outside into the quantum field. If you are feeling fear, you are going to attract fearful situations. So basically, it says that thoughts and emotions will create a vibration, and that vibration will shape the experience that you are going to have. Okay? And then gratitude, joy, and love open your channel to receiving. Okay, so that's what the law of attraction kind of states. And we're going to look at two examples and two different kind of contents that you may know about that talks about the law of attraction. And I'm curious to know, what are your initial thoughts about this? Do you think that you are having an impact in your existence by what you feel and what you believe and what you are thinking? Do you think that you have an impact in the reality that you are experiencing? Melinda says, there are so many different things if they're regarding the law of attraction. I love this one, Emilio. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So basically what you are giving your energy. So a couple of questions for you guys to reflect about before I move on into the next piece of content that talks about the law of attraction is, what are you giving your energy to most often, right? What are you giving your energy to most often? So are you giving your energy to thinking that things are working for you, to the positivity and the possibilities that lay ahead of you? Are you putting your energy to the fear of what's going to happen and trying to control, and that creates this kind of tension in you? So I'm just curious to know what you think about. And then, is this just for romantic partners? No, Patrick, this is not just for romantic partners. This is general for everything in your life. Like, romantic partners is just one area of life, but this law of attraction, it's for everything. Every area of your life, can be your work, can be your finances, can be your relationships with family, with friends, with a romantic partner. Basically, it states that your state of being in the present moment is going to attract sameness. Okay? So if you look at romantic partners, for example, if your belief system is that everybody's intention is to love you to the best of their ability, and that's what you believe about yourself, and that's what your state of being is, you are most likely going to attract someone that is vibrating at the same frequency as you. So you're going to attract someone that is also trying to give the best love they can, and they are not holding back. If your state of being right now, for example, is fear of being hurt because you had past experiences, and in this present moment, maybe you are experiencing, I had a breakup, and then I am experiencing hurt, and I don't trust people right now. I don't trust a woman to give me what I need. So right now I am vibrating fear. I am vibrating, I need to protect myself because if I invite someone else in my life, they're going to hurt me. So that is my world occurring view. That is my belief in this present moment. So I most likely will attract someone that is going to resonate with that I'm feeling. And this is a moment to moment to moment experience. So you are not trapped anywhere. You can always change your vibration. You can always change your belief system. And when you change that, you are going to change how you vibrate, and you are going to change the reality that you create. So it's not just for romantic partners. So Becca says, I hope to revisit Emilio's recordings to understand this more deeply. Yeah, Becca, I can always get a reminder too. I can always listen to the content again, because it's very easy to forget. It's very easy to don't apply it in my life. Even though I know this, sometimes I have a really hard time putting it into practice, because there are limiting beliefs, because I have fears, because I have conditioning from the past that if I'm not aware of it, it's going to drive me to go into places that are going to make me feel fear, are going to make me feel lack, are going to make me feel like this is too good to be true, or this is not going to work. And I have a specific example that I was talking to with my partner yesterday that she mentioned it. And this is the example of, so we are on Vancouver Island, and around a couple months ago, we were trying to decide what are we going to do this winter, okay? So the idea of becoming full-time house sitters, so basically taking care of people's houses and pets when they are traveling, was an idea that excited us, because it's not a lot of work, we have access to beautiful homes, and that was one possibility of many that we were contemplating, right? And my mind automatically went to, how is that going to work? How am I going to find houses for the whole time? It's going to be very difficult to find houses that are going to be back to back. So we're going to have we're going to have space between houses in the middle of the winter, and then it's going to be cold. And what are we going to do in the motorhome? So as you can imagine, what do you think I was feeling when I was rehearsing that story? When I was connecting with that possible reality that didn't happen yet, but when I was rehearsing and exploring that idea, what do you think my body was feeling in that moment? Of how am I gonna make that happen? How am I gonna make sure that I have enough housing? How can I control when the houses are coming in? And what's gonna happen to us in those gaps? So fear of the unknown. Yeah, exactly, Becca. So I was feeling fear. I was feeling lack. I was feeling tension, burden. I have to make this happen. I don't know how to. If it doesn't work out, we're going to be screwed. So I was radiating the energy of fear, of lack, of not trusting. And I was not even allowing space for a different reality to appear. And I remember Samantha went for a trip. And then once we got aligned in the idea of we are committing to this idea of becoming full-time house sitters, so something in me changed. And I say, I'm going to give my best. I'm going to show up and I'm going to try my best to become full-time house sitters. And I'm going to trust that the universe is going to support me if this is what's supposed to happen for us. So I started to contact and apply for houses. And then the first house sit came in and I was alone in it because Samantha and Eva were gone. And I was experiencing excitement. Wow, this is so amazing. I can't believe I'm in this beautiful home. I just want more of it. This is amazing. And I was trusting that more was coming. And then now I can tell you that the 6 months are full, sometimes back to back. So the same day we are leaving one house and we are entering another house. So Samantha was reflecting this back to me yesterday. It's like something changed in you and you were able to attract this. What was it? And I remember that I trust and I let go of control. I did the best I could every day. I showed up, I looked at houses, I applied for the ones that felt good to me. I showed up to visit them if I could. I had video calls with them if I could. So I did the best I could, always with excitement and always without feeling attached to that idea either. And everything worked out how it was supposed to. So this is just one example of a specific area of my life where I was able to manifest. Like I did the math yesterday, Samantha did the math. And if we were to pay $50 or $60 a night, that would be $20,000. And if we were to pay $200 a night for a full house, like on Airbnb, for example, that would be almost $40,000. So it's not physical money that came, but it's abundance in a different way. So Becca says, is our world occurring view the same as the way mirror neurons work? Yeah, Becca, so the idea of world occurring view is basically a belief system that you have about the world around you. You can name it world occurring view, you can name it a belief system, you can name it in a different way too if you want, but basically if you are feeling something concrete in this moment about things, you create a belief system. So in my case, at the beginning, my world occurring view or my belief system was finding house seats for the winter full time is going to be hard, it's going to be difficult, and most likely I won't be able to make it happen. So that is one world occurring view. And that belief system is going to create an emotional vibration, an emotional state in my body. And when I am in that emotional state, I am going to be attracting something that matches that frequency. Okay? When I change my world occurring view, when I question it, when I really thought, Emilio, is that true? Is it true that it has to be difficult? I flipped it into no, it is possible. And I can make it happen. And it is one possibility. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be easy. It can be exciting. It can be effortlessly. It can align in a way that feels good to me and my experience. So when that started to be my more predominant vibration, from that point of view, I was applying to houses with a different energy. When I was having video calls with people or visiting them in person, I was radiating a different kind of energy. And that will attract more of that. So I hope that I answer your question. Janet says, you could have the opposite problem and have too many houses. So Janet, it's an option, but you can because the platform that I'm using doesn't allow you to to say yes to houses that are on the same dates. But yeah, right now I could have more than what I can offer for sure. So this is the law of attraction and some examples. Okay, so what is the specific steps about the law of attraction that you could practically follow in your day-to-day life in different areas of your life? And I want to bring in here a movie, a documentary called The Secret. Are you guys familiar with The Secret? It's a beautiful documentary that talks about the law of attraction, and it talks about the specific steps that you can follow, so and how your vibration impacts your physical reality. And I'm curious to know if any of you is familiar with this documentary, with this movie called The Secret. There is also a book that you could read. Obviously, the snoring content dog beside you is shaking up your beautiful energy, soaking up your beautiful energy. Yeah, Melinda, I have 2 dogs here sleeping, and they are really loud when they sleep. So Becca says, I have heard of The Secret. Renee says, yes, I watched it many years ago. Yeah, Janet says, I just mean you can always flip the fear. What we fear may happen, the opposite could also happen. We don't know. Yeah, Janet, beautiful. That is another concept of the law of attraction, and it's called contrast. So basically, as you are saying, if an experience, if a reality, if something doesn't feel good to you and you don't want that, the idea is that you are going to use that as a contrast to help you understand, so I don't like this or I don't want this, so what do I want instead? By you doing this, you are becoming aware of something that you don't want, and then by flipping into what you want, you stop giving energy to what you don't want and attention, and you start giving energy and attention to what you want. And this is very powerful because many times we get stuck. I get stuck in what I don't want, and I keep rehearsing and sending energy to what I don't want, and I keep talking with people about the things that I don't want. And then I try to remind myself, no, Emilio, talk about what you want, talk about the reality that you want. And then by you doing that, you're going to be attracting more of that. So the law of attraction says that we are all abundant. Abundance is endless, but you can be abundant in having what you want. You can be abundant in lack. So if you are sending energy to lack, to the idea that you don't have enough, and this can be money, this can be love, this can be whatever, you are becoming abundant in that lack, because the law of attraction is abundant and love is always unlimited. So they say that the universe is so unconditionally loving that it will love you through you wanting to experience lack. It's not going to tell you, no, you are not allowed to experience lack. If that's what you want, I am unconditionally giving you energy and unlimited abundance in lack, in fear, in whatever emotion you are projecting, because that's what you want more of. That's why it's important to become aware of, what am I feeding the most? Where is my energy going throughout my day? What are the stories that I'm telling myself in my mind? And this is a journey, okay? You're not gonna be aware of everything all at once in one moment. This is always like a process, okay? Yeah, I just said that in a live this morning, that what we have an aversion to can help us identify what we need. Yeah, Janet, so imagine how beautiful if we start changing the perspective or the labeling or the meaning of things that happen in our lives that we don't like, and instead of focusing on them as something bad, we see them as an opportunity to mirror back to us what is it that we want instead. And every time we see something we don't like, oh, there is something for me to explore here. So I don't want this. So what is it that I want? And then you gain clarity. And I really resonate with what you are saying. Like, those things will help us really become clear and understand more what is it that we want. And the idea is for you to then transfer your energy and your attention into what you want and literally ignore the rest, because remember, quantum physics says everything exists here and now. So basically, any experience, any feeling, anything that you want exists here and now. You just have to connect to it. So just choose what you want to connect with instead of you choosing what you don't want to connect with. That is kind of the idea, right? Don't send energy, attention to what you don't want in your life anymore. Yeah, your method of mind mapping onto paper is a great practice for manifesting. It helps with visualizing what is wanted and make it materialize. Yeah, Becca, mind mapping is a beautiful tool. Creating a vision board is a beautiful tool. Doing what's called a visualization is a beautiful tool. There are so many different ways of you stepping into an energy that maybe you want and it is not present right now. It's kind of an exercise, a permission slip. You can call it however you want, but it's something that is going to help you elevate, change your frequency into what you prefer. I don't want to say better or worse, good or bad. It's just a different experience. Okay. So in that movie, in that documentary, The Secret, okay, there are 3 specific steps that they talk about. First one is to ask. Basically, you are asking the universe, what do you want? And you have to be as clear as possible. Okay. The second step, once you have asked clearly for what you want, not for what you don't want, okay? What you want. The second step is to believe. You need to trust that it is already yours. It already exists here. You are just connecting with that. Okay? So you need to trust that it's gonna come. Okay? And the third one is to receive it, to allow it into your physical experience, existence, right? So you need to feel the gratitude and live as if it's already done. So there is a sentence that says, fake it until you make it. Are you guys familiar with that sentence? Fake it until you make it. And this kind of talks about this. Sometimes you are not being dishonest. You are rehearsing a different state that you want to get into. You want to get aligned with. But it's going to be difficult for you to know how to do that right away. So that's why mistakes, they don't exist. Mistakes are just learning opportunities that allow you to get better and better in connecting with what you prefer. Okay? So are you guys following? Just curious. I hope I didn't lose you again. So basically, in that documentary, the 3 steps were ask, believe, trust, and then receive. Allow it into your existence. And it says it's not only about asking, it's about becoming the energy of your desire. So it's very important for you to become the energy of what you want. Okay? So another source that talks about the law of attraction that is also very interesting is Abraham Hicks. I don't know if you guys are aware of them. So there is Esther Hicks, that she channels an entity, a group of consciousness, or however you want to call it, that they call themselves Abraham Hicks. And they talk all about the law of attraction. And they have also very specific steps for you to follow. So they say that vibration first, manifestation second, okay? So you cannot manifest anything in your life that you are not the vibrational match to. So that's the sentence, fake it until you make it. Basically, you need to get in that state of vibration, in that state of being, feeling those emotions that you want to feel, and then the manifestation in the physical reality of your life will follow. It has to follow. That is the law. Your emotions show your alignment with your inner being. Okay? They call it the vortex, is the energetic realm where everything you desire already exists. So the vortex will be kind of the quantum field that quantum physics was talking about, is where everything exists. It's an infinite amount of possibilities in the quantum field, in the here and now. So that they call that the vortex. And then the path is ask, allow, and receive. So basically, you have to ask for what you want and get clear on your intention and really become that with your vibration. And then you need to allow things to come. You need to allow yourself for that to come into your existence, and then receive. So how many of you encounter that someone is trying to give you something, someone is trying to love you in a way that feels too much for you? And there is something inside of you that is rejecting something that you deeply want, but you are rejecting, you are maybe self-sabotaging, you are creating a situation that is going to prevent you from receiving that because there is a limiting belief, or there is a fear, or there is a story that maybe you believe that you don't deserve that. Maybe this is too good to be true and this person is going to hurt me after. Maybe you have never had the opportunity to experience that kind of depth, and now it's just too much for your nervous system. So that's what they call resistance. That's what they call blockages. Sometimes we create blockages of that energy, and it's me creating that. So the energy is there, the energy is present, the energy wants to flow to me, the manifestation wants to come to my reality, and I am the one that is blocking it somehow, with my belief system, with my limitations, with what I believe to be true, with the inner stories that I tell myself, with me maybe lacking self-love, lacking deserving that, etc. So that's something that they talk about, that sometimes the asking is easy, the allowing and receiving is the most difficult part. And that's where healing needs to happen. That's where we have to do the work to become a vibrational match and to clean our energy channels, to clean our blockages, to question our limiting beliefs so that we can step into that new reality. Yeah. So what do you think about when what is wanted has the limitation of not having enough money to afford it? Yeah, Becca, that is a limitation on itself, right? And sometimes this is also true. That's why it's so important that you ask and then you don't have an attachment to the outcome. You don't have an attachment on how it happens. And so many times I try to control how things come to me, and I need them to be in this specific way. And that is not maybe my path. So for example, right now, if I am asking for abundance and I just think about money flowing into my bank account, but what I want to experience is I want to be in nature, I want to have safety, I want to have stability, I want to have access to beautiful homes. But what if I don't have to buy one? What if buying a home is not what I need right now? What if all the emotions that I want to get aligned with can be fulfilled in so many different ways? And what if the abundance of getting house seats is what I need in my experience now? And it's going to give me all of those emotions, right? So it's so important that we don't get attached in how it comes to us. So you can look at not having enough money as an opportunity to use that contrast to really get clear on what is it that you want, and going deeper than the money, because money is just one form of abundance. There are so many different kinds of abundances that can come into your life. Money is just one of them. So you have to get clear when you are asking, what do you want to feel? What is the experience? What is the vibration that you want to step into? And then how is that money going to allow you to do that, to feel that, to create that? Because so many times what you want to create, what you want to feel, can be done in so many different ways, and we try to use our mind to make it happen in how we understand it needs to happen. But our higher mind and the universe knows way more than we do, and they can probably orchestrate something way better than we can. And it is our job to get out of the way. And that's where the allowing is so important, to understand that when you are allowing, you are trusting that what needs to come to you is going to come. Your only job is to maintain your vibration, your energy, your state to the one that you prefer. And the rest will manifest on its own. And of course, you have to take inspired action. But you have to take inspired action, not action from fear, not action that you think you have to because you feel unsafe or because you want to control how things flow. That is a different kind of energy. And you are not allowing the universe to flow in how it needs to if you are doing that. So yeah, it can be a limiting belief for sure. Yeah, I want to enjoy the seasons by purchasing an enclosed porch onto my house, but can't afford it. I figure I just need to get my body outside for more walks, and I could travel to other places to enjoy the seasons. Yeah, so Becca, in your case, you can connect with how are you going to feel when you are in that enclosed porch. Okay, what is the experience that you want to get aligned with? And then you have to ask for the universe for what you really truly want, and the reasons why you want it. And then after that, you have to let it go. You have to let it go, because maybe that is what you are supposed to experience, but maybe there is a different plan for you. And being flexible is important. Regardless of if you have a porch or not, you are responsible to maintain your vibration. You are responsible to stay aligned with what you want to feel. And maybe sometimes, maybe you will get the porch, and that's what you need. But sometimes maybe getting the porch will get on the way for you to doing other things that may give you something that you truly need and want on a deeper level. And as you are saying, what if you don't get the porch, what if you then will go for walks, will travel more, and then will experience things differently? So the universe will say, no, what you want, I am going to orchestrate something different. And I like the idea of the porch, but what you were asking for, I can deliver way more than that. So why would you just settle for one porch if you can have way more things, right? So that's the idea behind not being attached to the outcome, not feeling the need to control how it comes to you, and to really let it go. Trust that the universe has your back. Trust that if it's meant to be for you and it's in your higher interest, it will happen. And if not, just watch how it will unfold. Because if you maintain that energy, if you maintain the alignment, if you take inspired action, something is going to manifest. And many times, if you are able to really, truly trust and allow, it's going to be way better than what we can create with our mind. It's going to be way better. So yeah, it's just being curious and really trusting that things will come in the way that they need to come, so that they can answer your ask the best possible way. Yeah. And then another resource that I would like to bring into here, it's a Bouchard. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bouchard. I'm gonna type it here, but he also channels. So basically, his name is Daryl Anka, and he channels an entity called Bouchard. It's Bashar, and he has a formula. He has lots of videos on YouTube, and he also ties with quantum physics, with the law of attraction, and he has a very specific formula that I find it to be very, very practical. So his formula, are you guys familiar with him? I'm just curious to know, if this is something that you are familiar with or not. But basically, his formula about reality is act on your highest excitement. Okay? So the first thing is you need to act on your excitement to the best of your ability. Okay? With no insistence. And then you need to trust that it's guiding you to your highest path. And then you have to stay in the present, because the only moment that exists is the present moment. So for example, let's take Becca's example that she shared about she's feeling excited about having a porch that is covered and will allow her to be outside more. Okay? So she's feeling excited about that idea. So she's going to take action. He says, take action on your excitement to the best of your ability. So maybe you take action, Becca, on this excitement. And then how can you take action on the best of your ability? So if that was my idea, what comes to me that I feel excited about, I'm going to ask for quotes. I'm going to go and see who else has a porch. I'm going to get excited about what kind of shape do I want, how big, how is it going to look like? Am I going to paint it with a different color? Is it going to have a mosquito screen around it or not? So these are things that excite me, okay? So I will take action to the best of my ability in that idea until I find complete. And that doesn't mean that I will finish the project, but I will reach a point where I will feel like, it feels exciting to do something else instead of this. So I will honor myself in doing that. So maybe when I'm doing all these things, an idea comes that excites me. It's like, wow, I'm going to go for a walk and see how that feels. And maybe going for a walk and exploring areas of my neighborhood actually excite me a lot. And actually, it excites me more the idea of traveling to other places rather than staying in my home. So I will follow that motivation, that excitement. And he says that excitement is always an inner compass that you have to follow because your higher self is guiding you there. So he says, act on your highest excitement to the best of your ability, with no insistence on what it must lead to. So you don't have an expectation of what the end result is going to be. So you are just taking action because it feels good. But it doesn't have to lead to be completed in the way that you think it has to. Okay? Trust that it's guiding you to your highest path. So you need to trust that whatever you are doing is guiding you to your highest path. And the highest path, you don't know what that is. Maybe that is building your own porch. Maybe that is getting clear on traveling feels better for me. And that is more exciting. So that is one example. And then stay in the present and make sure that you are in an emotional state that feels good and aligned. So don't let the stuff outside of you control you, make you feel fear, etc. Okay? So that's the formula, right? And if you guys are not familiar with him, I really recommend that you watch some of his YouTube videos because I really like that real people ask specific real life questions about all kinds of topics. And he just has such a nice way of just answering everything from a very diverse point of view. And it's really wonderful. I really like it. I've been listening to him quite a bit lately. So yeah, that's another source that I think it's really interesting for you to talk about. Okay. And then the last thing that I would like to do, and you guys say no sound, 1 second. So can you guys imagine how wonderful life will be if your only job is to follow your excitement? And that is the guiding principle of your manifestation of your life. Can you imagine if it was that simple? Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And then another person I want to bring into the equation that I'm familiar with, and I went to one of his events, is Joe Dispenza. Okay. And then Joe Dispenza also has a good mix of quantum physics with meditation and spirituality, and he brings a lot of science behind everything he's doing. So he talks about the quantum field. He talks about everything is here and now. He talks about getting into the unknown, stepping into the unknown, because that's where new possibilities lay. So don't do things from your familiar past or from your predictable future. Do things from the present moment. and you have to cultivate a relationship with the unknown, so that going into the unknown is not something that frightens you. It's something that excites you. Instead of you looking at the unknown with the lens of what's going to happen, is this going to be really bad, I'm going to make a mistake, I need to control this, I don't understand. You enter the unknown with excitement. You enter the unknown with the lens of, wow, I can't wait to see what unfolds. I just can't wait to see what happens with this. I'm just going to stay excited, even though I have no idea what's going to happen. But my excitement and my vibration is going to guide me into this unknown. And something new is going to evolve from here. And I don't need to know how that is going to happen. I don't need to micromanage the steps. My job is just to stay present. My job is just to self-regulate. My job is just to decide how I want to feel now. And everything else will fall into place as it needs to. And the action I need to take will show up, and I will feel excited about it. And if I don't feel excited about it, I will not take action on that. So can you imagine if life was that simple? I'm just curious to know. So Becca says, maybe traveling in an RV is more exciting than sitting between a porch, which already feels sort of like a box. Becca, I don't know. That is your manifestation, right? I can tell you one thing. When I was in Kitchener-Waterloo and we learned that we were going to be kicked out of our home for the last 13 years, and we had to make a choice, I can tell you one thing. I had no clarity about what I had to do in that moment, but I could just sense that the idea of renting something or buying something in that moment didn't feel exciting. And the idea of the motorhome felt more exciting. It wasn't perfect, but from all the options I had, that idea felt more exciting than going back to doing something similar to what I have done. Now it feels exciting to me to have a base. It feels exciting to me to have a place that I can call home. That feels more exciting than being in a motorhome all the time. But again, I don't have clarity about how it needs to happen. Where am I going to buy a house, or where am I going to be renting, or who am I going to partner with? I have no idea where that is. And it's okay. I have to, again, my only job is to stay excited. As opportunities come to me, explore them, take action on what excites me, get clarity when something happens that I don't like, use that as a contrast so that I can get clear on what I want and like, and then focus my energy fully on what I want and stop thinking about the things I don't like, I don't want, are not working. Just use them as learning opportunities, as clarity events, so that I can be clear with more clarity and with more alignment in what I really want. So yeah, it's just following the formula of always follow your excitement, your highest excitement. And sometimes that can be little things like, right now I feel excited about sitting on my couch. I feel excited about going for a walk. I feel excited about sending a message to my friend. Or I feel excitement about cooking something. Or I feel excited about exploring the opportunity of what kind of houses are for sale in this area. But I'm not attached to a specific idea. I'm just following my excitement. So Anita says, hi, this is my first time here. I feel sometimes what you suggest like life like something very exciting to focus on, but often my hope turns to fear and it's a chaos. Hi from Spain. Anita, I am from Spain. And I can tell you that I was raised with the lens that life is difficult, abundance requires hard work to achieve. People around you are going to steal from you. They're going to do something not nice to you. You have to protect your belongings. You have to lock your home. There is a lot of fear-based and conditioning that I was raised with. That is something generational. And it is very normal for me still now to go there. So when I was doing my first house sit, I was experiencing something very profound. I was experiencing the reality of, I just met this couple. They have this amazing home. They are giving me the keys to their home. They are giving me the keys to their car. They are giving me all access to everything they have. They are trusting me fully. They are inviting me for dinner the night before. And it's like, I just had a hard time receiving that, because if I talk about this with my friends in Spain, you know what they tell me? But how do you know they are not gonna steal from you? But how do you know that they will not have a party and destroy the place? And I was thinking, I mean, that is one possibility, but what about you taking care of the place being another possibility? So it's very normal sometimes to go to the extreme, and it's very normal for fear to be dictating everything we do. And that's why it's so important to choose what we want to believe, to choose what we want to feel, and to start aligning with that more than aligning with the fear of something that didn't even happen yet, right? So yeah, it's important to really understand that you can decide how you feel, you can decide what you want in your life, and you can not put attention on the rest. This doesn't mean that you're not gonna be protecting yourself if you have to, but just follow your excitement. And when you are looking at experiences, at options in your life, take into account all the range. Don't just look at things from the place of feeling afraid or lack. Also look at things from the place of abundance and excitement. And I have a hard time doing that, because so many times I have been trained to always look at what can go wrong, what is the worst case scenario, so that I can get ready for it. And what am I doing when I'm doing this? I am focusing my energy in what I don't want, because I don't want someone to steal from me. I don't want this weird opportunity that I don't like to happen to me, right? I rather put my energy into what's possible, into what I want. And when I do that, I attracted that house because I was in that energy. Otherwise, I would not have attracted that house. I would probably not, I wouldn't be able to receive that house if I was feeling that way. You understand? I was on the verge of feeling like this is way too much. I am feeling uncomfortable being here. It just feels like this is a dream that doesn't belong to me. I cried in that house. I was looking around in disbelief many times, understanding like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe that this is a reality that I can enjoy. And it was so easy, and I don't have to work for it. And people love me being here. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's really important to really connect with that, because that's also a possibility. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here today. There is a lot to unpack in here, but I am grateful that you guys were around, and I hope to see you in a next live. Maybe we can dive deeper into other topics related to this. Okay?